if Alex can pull up this clip. I don't know if you guys saw Rory McIlroy talking today. It's got a little bit of live talk in there, which is super interesting. But he also talks about the shot clock and basically just like, the state of affairs within the PGA Tour. It's a great clip to listen to. So if we could just play, I think it's like 2 minutes.
I think great venues like this one. I think that's a big part of it. I would say, I honestly, like, I don't. The best players competing against each other a little more often, which we've tried to do on this tour. Are we missing 3 or 4 guys that have went elsewhere? Probably, but still, obviously, the majority of the best players in the world are still here. I don't know. Yeah, pace of plays. Obviously the MLB introduced a pitch clock at the start of last season, and that seemed to work pretty well. It's going to be, you could try to introduce it, but how is it governed? How is it played? That's a very hard thing to do for every single group on the golf course. Like, golf is, there's a lot of things about golf that are very different than other sports, but I think that's also what makes it unique. I don't think we should try to dumb down golf to appeal to more people. Golf is golf at the end of the day. It's been this way for hundreds of years, and I really like the way golf is, and I think a lot of other people do too. But I still understand the critiques of how the entertainment product could get better. But it's a multifaceted thing, and it's I think pace of play is one thing, but player accessibility, all that, that's all the things that we're talking about. But it takes a while to put that that sort of ball into motion, and but these are all the things that I've been getting kicked around, and but like, first and foremost, like, we're professional golfers where we want to go out there and shoot the best score possible that we can and try to beat each other, and hopefully people find that entertaining, and if not, then I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, that last line there is the most important one to me. And Rory could like run for president and he'd probably win. He's just the greatest speaker. He knows how to say exactly how he feels, and it comes off so genuine. He's always been this great on the mic. But that last line to me is so true. Where it's like, at the end of the day, we could all just come up with all these ways to make golf more entertaining, or visibly appealing, or quicker, so that we can consume it better. But it's just like, if we don't genuinely, if the majority of people watching it don't love watching a guy trying to get the ball in the hole, like, that's really all they can do. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what golf is. Like, you really can't change it too much. Like, it's just, they're going to go out there and they're going to try and just get the ball in the hole. And you have to fall in love with that to love golf. Like, you have to. Like, it's going to take, sometimes it's going to be slow. They're going to try and get that ball in the hole. It's just like, it's so true. Like, being competitive has to be the main driving point.
He had another part too that I'd actually singled out. I hadn't seen that other clip. That's phenomenal. And you're right. He just, like, everything he says, he speaks like he's being very thoughtful about what he's saying, which I don't think everyone comes off like that. And it just carries a lot of weight. To add to the exact same thing you're saying, Frankie, he said, look, it's a balance. When we're growing up dreaming of professional golfers and trying to get the best out of ourselves, the last thing on our mind is being an entertainer. And so I think it was a little bit like at odds a little with like the JT memo, where he's sort of saying, I think, what kind of the TGL conversations we've had have brought out, which is exactly right, which is like, at the end of the day, what is most entertaining about Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy or Justin Thomas or Scotty Scheffler is when they are playing against the other best players in the world, going shot for shot, as competitive as they could possibly be, doing things that we cannot fathom, hitting it 330 down the middle, hitting it in there close, and then under unbelievable pressure, having the touch and the skill to roll a putt right in the hole and going crazy. Like, that is what they're best at being entertaining at, and it's not all this other stuff. And I completely agree with you. I think people always overdo that. They've always overdone that with the iterations of the match, where people are like, they need to be out there talking. It's like, well, I just don't think that, like, Scotty Scheffler is going to be out there, if you go to the match that they did in Vegas, like, talking. to like Rory McIlroy or talking to Brooks Koepka. That's just not what he does. What he does is like he hits all kinds of sweet shot shapes and rolls the ball in the hole. When he adds them up, he's way lower in attempts than everyone else, and he wins. Like that's what he's best at, and that's what's most entertaining. And it's funny that of course it was Rory that kind of put that in the right words and is kind of capturing what I think we've been trying to say.
I do think he came off a bit stubborn with the pace of play thing. Like that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to speed things up. Like he's taking fully the other side of the JT thing, not to pit those two against each other, but it does seem to be a reaction to we got to be more entertaining out there. And I understand and I agree with what you guys are saying about, you know, it's better for them to just be competitive and very, very good at the game of golf. They don't have to be Jerry Seinfeld out there. But I think pace of play is a completely separate issue for that. Like he's saying he likes it the way that it is, but like there is a viewership and that of people who don't like it the way that it takes so long. Like they can change that, can't they? Like it can take a little bit less longer. Now, is that going to make it? Is that going to make the PGA Tour the NFL? No, but you can at least maybe appeal to a few more people. I thought he came off a little stubborn with that, where he was just like, you know, things are pretty good. He's Rory McIlroy. He's had a great life in the game of golf. Like he's made a ton of money. Of course, he's happy with it. But like you, at some point, the people who are watching make it that way. And if you are either losing viewership or not gaining viewership, you got to at least try to think of a way to make that go up. Like otherwise, you're just sitting in the pond going nowhere.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think what he's kind of getting at is like no matter what changes we make, the core of golf is still what it is. So I think he's thinking like changing the pace or whatever. Maybe he doesn't think like that even like it, he needs people to love what golf is, regardless of how fast or slow it is. Like he doesn't see the value in it being faster or slower, that's going to really make that much of a difference. I feel like that's kind of where he's getting at. I do think he's wrong on that. I do think that games that have been around for hundreds of years, like baseball, they make changes, and it's not the same game that Babe Ruth played and all these guys used to play. Honus Wagner. It's like it's different because they want to make more money and they want to get more eyeballs on it and they want to advance the game and make it more accessible for people and make it more consumable for people to sit on their couch and watch it or go and spend their hard-earned money and watch it like that. These are all things that you have to adapt. It's the year 2025. Like you can't be that, whether it's stubborn or blind or, you're not seeing the right way of it. Adding a shot clock just makes the product better for the people that make golf what it is.